everybody. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about two things. First of all, there are no instructions included with the bike. So when you get it, you're going to have to reference some YouTube videos, of which there's one, I think it's Bike Sauce. He does an assembly of a Triton model, which is very close to the X Ambition. So if you follow that, that's pretty much what I did. I watched that one first and then used that as a reference as I went through. I'll try to put that link in the video description below because it goes through the entire setup, from setting up your derailleurs, setting up your brakes, all of that. It's probably the most in-depth video that I've seen on bike setup. I'm not going to get that detailed on mine. But the second thing is, because there were no instructions, I made a couple of mistakes. And I tried to point those out as I went through, so I wouldn't leave it there for you to repeat the mistakes. I owned them. So that's just a part of it. I've never built a bike like this before at this level. So obviously there are going to be some mistakes that are made, especially with no instructions. So it's not a big deal. It actually worked out really, really, really well. Spoiler alert, I learned a lot, and I'm actually kind of glad that I had to do it this way, because I think it's going to make me better just maintaining my other bikes and keeping them operating at their peak performance. So all in all, it was a good thing. It took me a few hours, and I had to go back and change some stuff, as you'll see in the video. I hope you enjoy the bike build. I did. If you'll go ahead and hit that like button and hit subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I've got 35 subscribers right now. And if that's not enough to make you feel sorry for me, just look at me. So please hit the subscribe button and enjoy the video. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Active Life, Happy Life. Today, it's New Bike Day. So the Poseidon Dropbar X Ambition Gen 2, that's a mouthful for me, arrived. I ordered it on February the 5th, and it arrived on February the 11th. So very quick turnaround. And as you see, Poseidon ships their boxes with a TV on the outside of it. And that's probably an idea that came up one night, knocking down a couple of beers, hoping that people would take care of the box. But as you can see, I'm glad the TV wasn't in there. These delivery folks really don't give a squat about the products that get delivered. So the box has got a few owies on it. Nothing too crazy. There was some penetration inside, or holes in the box, but so far I've just opened the top and I don't see anything that looks like it made it to the bike itself. So I am going to just open this up real quick so you can see how it comes, how it's packaged. Everything I've seen, Poseidon does a really good job of boxing these up and protecting them. Like I said, I think I saw something over here. There's a wheel, and there's a little bit of an intrusion. That axle poked through the cardboard there, but it hit this portion but did not go all the way through. So that's good. Lots of foam in here. So now it's time to take it out of the box. I think there's some goodies in here. So I'm gonna open this up first, and I think the tools and stuff are in there. Boom, everything else appears to be bike stuff. That's the seat. All right, let's get started. I wanna make sure everybody knows I paid for this myself. They are connected to GovX, so if you're a first responder, a veteran, I can't remember all the different entities. If you're signed up with them, you do get, I think it's $125 off, and maybe free shipping. So that was the motivating piece for me to buy this bike. I think it was like in the $600, $650 range for me, and like that's awesome. When I'm looking at Treks and even Polygon, so my Polygon Siskiyou T6s over there, was looking at their road bikes. I just couldn't pull the trigger because I'm over $1,000, and so I just didn't really want to spend that much. at this particular time. So I appreciate Poseidon hooking us up with GovX. Very plastic, you know, beginner, just kind of get you going on the, get you going for a ride, for a test ride with your pedals. Let's see what else. Axles, tool, reflectors, Allen wrench, and some screws have the thread lock on them, so that's awesome. That keeps the job a little cleaner, you know, because every time I get the thread locker out, I get it all over me. All right, so that's everything that's in the box. Let's get this bike out, get it in the bike handstand, and we'll start putting it together. Trying to see what brand these tires are. All right, so, oh yeah, very nice. Very light. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt, let's see if I can do this. So here's a cap just protecting the seat post. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So just temporarily, I'm going to put some grease on this a little bit later. But for right now, I'm just going to try to set this seat post in here and tighten it up just so I can get it on my bike stand. Just going to tighten it up just a smidge. All right, so the next thing, you can see like it's packaged very, very, very well. Hardly anything exposed as far as the paint goes. It's the handlebars. Let me get all of this off. Okay, so it's okay to let your handlebars hang. Just make sure your cables aren't twisted up and kinked. That's very important. So I'm just looking at this stem here that looks to be one piece. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go ahead and just temporarily mount the handlebars just to get them up and out of the way. All right, so you may have seen that I had the forks turned around backwards. Vinny's checking them out now. He's going to give my final inspection. And because the disc brake was on this side and not that side. So what happened was the stem up here was actually turned 180 degrees. And so all that is just loosening up these two pinch bolts right here and spinning that, and then getting the forks where they need to be, and then putting the bars on. So back to kind of where I started, and you probably saw that as I was doing it earlier. So that is that. So now it's time to move on to the next step, which will be the wheels and the brakes. All right, so you see that I've just taken the box that the tools came in, emptied that out. This is the front tire and wheel assembly, obviously, because it doesn't have a cassette on it. It has a little rubber protective grommet here. There we go. So it's got some grease on it. So that's just a protective cap. So that goes away. We won't need that. We're going to need our little package of screws with our Loctite on. Got a little bit of grease from that on my fingers. So We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Two, four, six, so there, set those over there to the side. So now what I need to determine is there a difference between the front disc brake and the rear disc brake? I'll very carefully open this up. Working very diligently not to touch the disc and get the oils from my hand on there. Or do I want to scratch it? So there's what that one looks like. Let's see what this one looks like. See if there's any difference. Because then I'm going to have to determine which one's front and which one's rear. But they look pretty much the same. So I am going to, I think those are directional. Yeah, direction this way. So the wheel is going to spin that way. But try not to touch. Let's spin that way. That's logically how those should go on. So then it's just a matter of, okay. Ah, that's a Torx bit. So they didn't include a tool for that. Shame on you, Poseidon. Okay guys, well, I had to make a change and I want to come back and show you. So I had the disc mounted just backwards. So when I had them mounted, I didn't notice these little arrows when I first put them on. I should have, but I was too busy talking. Pretty easy fix, no big deal. So when you see my video, when you saw it earlier, it was wrong, now it's right. All right, right here I'm just comparing the axles, trying to figure out which one's the front and which one's the back. Obviously the one that's shorter, it goes to the front. All right, so after looking at the back, there's an opening at the bottom of the frame on the forks back there. And so got my little rubber mallet, just tap this a little bit, and that's how easy that was. So I just wanted to make sure I used my due diligence before I did that so that I wouldn't mess anything up. But a few little light taps, that comes right out, no problem. That goes on this side. Seems logical that there would be one on each side of the axle. All right, so now we're left with putting the back tire on and dealing with this mess. It looks challenging. I'm not sure how challenging it's actually going to be, but it looks like a mess. So let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so Poseidon has a video on this because my derailleur was on the inside, so I just had to twist it over top of this frame bar here. And now what we've got is we have two screws that are already pre-installed, and they are going to go into the frame here. You can see the threads right there. And then I've got, it came with two other screws, so I got to figure out where those other two screws go. Not exactly sure. I see threaded hole here and a threaded hole up high, but I think, yeah, so this, you can see how this, hopefully you can see that, maybe not. Get down here, you can see how this is cut away to fit the derailleur. So that's gonna fit up there just like a nice little puzzle piece. So let me put that on, and then I'll see if I can figure out how to finish untangling the chain. Okay, well, it's on. Kind of a high wire act there between trying to put that axle through there, making sure there's enough tension to hold the wheel into the bracket, into the frame, get the disc to line up to the pads, and to get the chain and everything. You had to pull the, I don't know what this is actually called here, I pull it down a little bit to get a little slack so I could get that around the front cog up there. So at least it's on. Probably need to tighten it up a little bit. Just looking at it, definitely need some adjustment. I can hear the pads rubbing against the disc, so I have to adjust that. There, I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot more to building this than building the Polygon SQT6 you see in the background. Now that's a mountain bike, but I think I put the seat post in, which is a dropper. I put the front tire on and the handlebars, and I was done. Like everything else came assembled. So the bike stand, the bike stand that I have, I did a video on that. You can find that on my channel. It's awesome. It makes the job so much easier. I can't imagine doing it without it. So at least everything is put together from the best of my knowledge. Now I have 2 screws left over. I'm gonna have to figure out, I don't know where they go. I don't know what they would do. So they look like these 2 small ones that attach the hanger on to the frame. I don't know if those were just extra. Not sure. So I'll have to do some more deep dives into the assembly on the Poseidon website. The one thing I did notice is the one video access was on a Triton model, and this is a Dropbar Ambition X Gen 2 or Dropbar X Ambition Gen 2. I do love the paint. Like the matte black is super, super sexy. Yeah, the black Poseidon on it, really, I love that. Very sleek, very sexy. I can't wait to ride it. Just have some more adjusting to do. I'm gonna post a link in the description on, I think it's Bike Sauce, his channel. He does a great job of talking about just setting up a bike. And I think it is a Triton that he's setting up everything. Just setting up the handlebars, the brakes, the derailleurs, adjusting those, make sure they cycle well. So the only thing I don't have on are the pedals. So I will put those on. I'm gonna put the ones that came with it, which are just the cheap plastic ones. I'm gonna get some, I think I got these for my Siskiyou T6. I think they're Fukers is what they're called. So they work fantastic for a mountain bike. I'm gonna try them on a gravel bike and just see what happens. I'm not a clip-in kind of guy and all that kind of stuff, so that's probably what will come in the mail in the next few days. That will be the first upgrade. So overall, not too bad, but you know, if you're not mechanically inclined, you might want to just take it to a bike shop and have them do it for you. So, all right, if there's something else I can think of, I'll add to this, and then I'll wrap it up. If you've never installed bike pedals before, you have to know that rightsy-tightsy, leftsy-loosey does not work with bike pedals. So you can see we're on the left side. There is a left, there's an L indicator. This one will have, I don't know if you can see that or not, there'll be an R for right, and there may even be a sticker. Yeah, there's a sticker on there on this one too. So so you know what side, but this is a lefty tighty when you're putting your pedals on. So I'm tightening this inner bearing, whatever you want to call it. So when you come over to the right side, rightsy-tightsy, leftsy-loosey comes back into play. So it's just on that left side that you're going to have to, I hear you, Pepper. When I get my other Fuker pedals in, I'll probably put a little bit of Loctite on them and cinch them down, but these are going to be very temporary, so that's all I'm concerned about. I'll go ahead and tighten this up. You really need a very thin, this came with the Siskiyou, thin wrench to tighten these up. If you try to use a normal crescent wrench, there's usually not enough space in there and you're going to stretch your pedals up. Let me hold that tire, tighten that up. Okay, that's good. Because this has to go to the left to tighten up. Hold the back tire, cinch that down, put a little bit of squeeze on it. That's good. All right, so with that, now everything is on. Even though the pedals are temporary, they're on there. Man, that matte black looks so good. Oh man, it's almost like a really dark gray or something. It's gorgeous. Oh, love it. Okay, we'll wrap this thing up. Hey guys, if you're still watching, thank you. I really appreciate it. I know it's a long video, but I wanted to wrap it up. So just some of my final thoughts about the bike and building it, just the process. So first of all, I want to talk about the difficulty. I think the difficulty is, when we're talking about on a scale, easy, medium, or hard, I think we're probably like an easy medium, probably depending on your skill set, if you're mechanically inclined or not. If you are mechanically inclined, closer to easy. If you're not, probably medium. And if you're good at just watching tutorials on YouTube and being able to apply that, I think you're going to be okay. Remember, there are no instructions with this, so hopefully you've seen how I had to learn as I went through it myself. Next thing, I think the front rotor is warped. Not because of anything I did. I put it on the front tire, and I have taken that tire off multiple times trying to line it up. I've actually taken the bracket of the brake caliber, loosened it, tried to move it around a little bit, and I've just got this one spot where it's hitting constantly. So I think I'm gonna have to take that off and see if I can adjust it. That's the only thing as far as quality control that I've seen that could potentially be an issue. Next thing, the derailleur. When I set that up, it was perfect. I did not have to make a single adjustment on the derailleur, which was huge for me because I think that's probably the most complicated part of setting a bike up, is just tweaking that. You need to know, as far as a value right now, just the shipping, the unboxing, the assembly, things like that. Right now, I'm looking at the value as very high. Like I said, I paid maybe $650 for this bike. That's amazing for the quality of this bike. And this bike comes from Poseidon with a lifetime warranty on the frame. So that's a big deal. So hopefully they're going to be around a long time, just in case I do need something. But that's peace of mind. And $650 is a great value for the money. And it's a great starting point, because one thing I've learned about bikes is, and it's just like motorcycles, dirt bikes, the toys that I have, it's like you're constantly just accessorizing them, putting this little piece of bling on, putting this little performance piece on. That's part of the fun of owning these types of bikes and machines, for me anyway. And I know a lot of people, especially the dirt bike community, they're constantly tweaking with their bikes. So, slowly, I started at $650 for the bike. I'm slowly going to, upgrade, change some parts out just to make it mine. And for $650, the value for that, just the jumping off point is awesome. So instead of starting at $1,500, $2,000, $4,000, where there may not be much to upgrade, quite honestly, on a $4,000 bike, but I still see people doing it just because they like to make it theirs. So, it makes it so much easier to be able to get in at an entry-level price and then upgrade from there. Until next time, I hope you liked the video. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I really appreciate you if you've lasted this long. Thank you for enduring a long video, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a blessed day.